Hey, what's up, folks? It's Jerry, and time to do a little bit of a workout update video. As promised last year already, um, I'm trying to do more of these workout videos every now and then, but obviously there's no point to just make them, because of it. So every now and then, when some kind of a progress happens or a new program is taking place, then these videos are right there for you. Now, last year, about maybe 4 months ago, I started to do a little bit of a different program. As people who have been following me know that I've been mostly using 531 by Jim Wendler. That is a program name, that is. This time I decided to give a new program a go. This one is called Juggernaut, which I featured already last year. And I basically introduced the whole idea to people who don't know the idea. And of course, more advanced powerlifters and gym goers already know the deal here. They're probably not even watching the deal here, because it's not like I'm the big and powerful dude. I'm just a metalhead doing some powerlifting and trying to get better and all that stuff. But those of you who have no idea what's going on, I'll give you a little bit of a brief recap of what's the program like. So Juggernaut is partially based on 531. That is, mostly it has this kind of a progression that is based on 1 rep maxes or 3 rep maxes, and then you have these kind of working maxes based on that. If it sounds complicated, it's really not. That is, once you have gotten like 3 rep max on any given lift, that is deadlift, overhead press, bench press, or squats, then you kind of figure out how the working sets are done, and you do that by calculating percentages based on your 1 rep or 3 rep maxes, and then you have your working sets done. So the program is then divided into 4 blocks, and each block takes 4 weeks, 3 heavy lifting ones, and then you have a deload week to kind of recover from those heavy lifts, and then another 3 weeks and so forth. And each of these blocks, they have different purpose. First 4 weeks, that includes the deload by the way, is about volume. That is mostly tens. So for example, the very first week is 5 sets of 10 reps with that given percentage you're doing. Relatively low on weight, but there's a lot of volume, so what might look like an easy task on paper, when you're like, okay, this doesn't really look like much, well, it's gonna make your muscles sore and feel like, hey, this is very, very different than your typical powerlifting routines with very few reps and all. But it's good for hypertrophy. So overall, I would say go do it. But I must say, I didn't know how much I would have difficulty. I'm using quotation marks because it wasn't that much difficulty maybe physically, but it felt like heavy, and mentally it was so different to do 10 reps and 5 sets versus the kind of typical deal where I go for, say, something like 3 reps per set or 5, 8 max and all that stuff. So the first 4 weeks are all about 10s. Then it goes for another block of 8s, and then 5s and 3s. And those last 2 blocks especially, which are 3s and 5s, are the ones that are kind of closer to your normal powerlifting program. I mean, more heavier weights, but still you do quite differently than 531. But there are similarities, and the Juggernaut program is inspired partially by 531, so there's a connection. One could say that whereas typical 531 with 4 week blocks, including that 4th week as deload one, is kind of easier to get into. Their percentages are relatively similar, so there is a lot of familiarity if you switch from 531 to Juggernaut. But because it's also inspired by block periodization and other mentalities of certain powerlifting programs, there are differences, and that means that all of these 4 blocks are a little bit different from each other, which then again means that you have to do a little bit more calculating and a little bit more planning. What are you doing with the program? Once again, much like 531, it's 4 days a week. So you have any given day dedicated to one one main lift, let's put it this way. That is overhead press, squat, deadlift, and bench press. So you alternate with the upper body and lower body. For example, my routines mean I start the week with overhead press, then I have squat, then I have bench press, and then I finish the week with deadlift. Usually I do something like Monday and Tuesday, and then maybe Friday and Saturday, but it could be very well be like Monday and Wednesday and Thursday and Saturday. Anyway, that's the typical routine I do from week to week. For example, last year I did something like 208 workouts. So basically 4 workouts throughout the year of 52 weeks. You do the math. Overall, I was pretty satisfied because even though Juggernaut is a little bit different than 531, and even though it meant like learning new things and doing a little bit of different kind of accessory movements, I think it helped me to figure out some very basic stuff like that volume training and all that stuff. And by the time I was done with this 16 weeks of a program, I was ready to have the last recovery week as part of that 16 weeks program. And then I went for my 1 rep maxes. Well, the sad fact is that my overhead press or bench press didn't get better. Actually, I didn't feel very good on the bench press day, so it wasn't even as good as my previous max, but not that far away from either. And one thing you have to remember, once you get older, it's not so guaranteed that you even are able to do your previous rep maxes or your previous best attempts. So there is that. For example, I'm closer now to 50 years old than 40 years old, not to mention 20 or 30. So there is that. You have to be kind of understanding what your body is doing, and when you get older, you get kind of weaker, and it's harder to get more strength and all that stuff. But that's enough of excuses. I still think my overhead press was a little bit better. It was more strict than previously. So at least we can call it a kind of minor step towards progression. That's exactly what's going on. Then again, the good news is I did my best squat attempt this far, both with sleeve, well, not with sleeve, without sleeves, but without wraps. So there is that. I did 200 kilos with sleeves, and I did 235 with, wraps on squat. That's only a couple of kilos more than previously, but still, so I'm satisfied with it. And with deadlift, I improved my previous deadlift by 5 kilos. So 265, which I'm really happy about it. I mean, it's not super great, but given my age and weight and all that stuff, that is, I'm less than 100 kilos. I think it's pretty okay. I mean, I was comparing to national level here in Finland, and yeah, it looks pretty cool. Anyway, I will include those videos in the end of this. This is just a kind of a quick recap to tell you what's going on. And after these 16 weeks plus now this couple of extra weeks, I mean, this week is another deload, very there is a vacation going on, and I don't have the normal access to gym going on this week, plus my band's first gig in 20 years. So this week has been a little bit kind of broken in terms of normal schedule, so it's going to be only light weights for me this week. But after this one is finished, I am going to try out the Juggernaut, the different ways. I mean, there is this variation to the program called inverted Juggernaut. That means instead of doing like 5 sets of 10 reps, you're gonna do 10 reps of 5s. Also, when with the week of 8s, like when you're supposed to do like 4 sets of 8 reps, I'm gonna do 8 sets of 4 reps. Still with the similar weight, so it's not so much about volume, at least in terms of longer sets, but you still have volume effectively because you are anyway doing the same amount. And with the Juggernaut program, the last set is anyway going to be as many as possible, so there's that. And by that last set, that really defines what is going to be your working max. But this is something that I already went through with the previous video, and of course you can get more detailed about that in the program. If you buy that ebook, for example, of Juggernaut, or if you watch some other videos about it. So I'm not gonna go recap. Now I will include my squat and deadlift videos, so maybe I hope they will be inspiring for you as well for 2022. This year looks bleak, you know. We got barely COVID in the better direction, and now we have this world war. So I don't know how or which kind of world we will be living in for the next few months or years. So there's that. But I hope all the best for you people out there with the working out and metal music. So take care and all the best. So here it is, my best deadlift attempt so far, 265 kilos. It looks like I had a little bit of fuel left in the tank. See. And this is the squat attempt. This was really hard. Maybe 2 kilos more could have been taken, but I don't know, it felt so much heavier than how it looks on the video. Anyway, I hope these lifts will inspire you to beat your own records this year. It's early 2022, so there's plenty of time to break those records and make new gains. See you with the next workout video soonish.